Welcome to Hike and Health Adventures. Today I want to talk a little bit about the cost of my Appalachian Trail through hike. Now I want to apologize up front that I do not have any solid numbers for you in the sense of it broke down, because I just, on a personal level, I just don't operate that way. I mean, you give me some budgets, things like that, I can work with that if I'm going to be held accountable for that. But because this is just a personal adventure for myself, I didn't necessarily keep track of everything I spent. Now I can simply go back and figure it all out if I really needed to, but I don't need to and I don't really care to. But what I can do is share with you some of the numbers that I had, that my budget. Okay, I had a budget going into this of about $2,000. But if you look out there, people are going to say it costs $1,000 a month to hike the Appalachian Trail. Well, after doing some more research, I found that I could actually do it for half that, and I did. And at the end of the day, I did do the trail for right around $500 a month. I was on the trail for about for 4.5 months. Actual hiking days is about 120 days, but nevertheless. I resupplied myself, okay? You can see here, this is one of my boxes that I never actually had sent to me. And there was a couple of them. So half of my resupply, every bit of half my resupply came from home. The other, just short of half, it was just under half, I picked up on the trail while I was out there in the towns. Every 3 to 4 days you run across the town. So you never really have to worry about carrying too much food. A lot of the times, most of my boxes were 6 days worth of food. But now, and we'll go over what's in this box here shortly. We'll open it up and we'll see what's in there. But most of my food was dehydrated. Okay, so it was light. But in some cases, I didn't have always the lightest food. But when it comes down to it, I spent probably upwards of $4 to $5 a day on my food for the full day. Okay, so but by the time it's all said and done, because it cost $15, just under $15 to send this box somewhere. So although my food was able to be a lot cheaper because I made most of it, right, and dehydrated it, and of course time is money, that's important, but I had the time to do that. You guys, it takes a lot of time and effort to dehydrate your own food and to put your own boxes together. Making sure it's all laid out on the floor and putting it in the boxes, taping it up, writing on it, getting the addresses where they got to go. You guys, there's a lot of work in resupplying from home, okay? But there's a lot of rewards to it as well, and that being that you get to make that food and you get to eat what you want to eat. And it doesn't have to be the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like when I went and resupplied in town, when I was out on the trail, it's the same stuff. Oatmeal, Nor sides, tuna, Spam, pepperoni, peanut butter, things like that. Now I would have some of that stuff come from home as well, just not all the time. But anyway, so let's get into that a little bit. Well, first of all, the cost, $15 to send the box. Most of the time, the food that was inside the box didn't even amount to 15 bucks. Sometimes it's like 10, just depending, because you guys got a lot of stuff on sale. I got Snickers bars for about 50 cents a piece, Cliff bars for about 50 cents a piece. Because it was crazy, because here comes Christmas, right? I shopped after Christmas, did all the Christmas shopping, or all my candy and some of the food stuff after Christmas, because all that candy goes on sale, right? Yeah, I still have some of that candy laying around. But you guys, if you're on the trail, it's going to cost you about $30 to $40 for some of those standard items that you'll see some of this stuff probably in the box. It would cost you $30 to $40, maybe even upwards of $50, depending on what you eat, if you're resupplying at grocery stores or hostels, things like that. A lot of that stuff is marked up. You can go buy a tuna pack here for 88 cents at Walmart, right? Or $1 or something like that. I got a bunch of them for less than that, actually, on sale. But to say $1, that same tuna pack at a hostel or at a resupply point on the trail could be $1.50. Okay, so some of that stuff is marked up pretty good. So you got to watch that stuff. But again, time is money. It takes a lot of effort to do this. Okay, but I would do it again. I would absolutely do it again because I love my food. So I spent probably a little less than. Again, I can't really break it down because I don't have those numbers of what I spent on each box. But like I said, it's safe to say about $4 to $5 a day. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and open this. See what's in here. I always had to be careful because you never know what you're going to cut open. Another thing about resupplying yourself, I might get some extra goodies, you know, or a note or something like that, you know, and just something from home. It's like a care package, you know, something, homemade cookies, things like that. All right, so you can see it's full box, okay? This is, usually I wrote on the box if it was a 4 or a 6 day box, but I don't see where I wrote on here. But most of the time I had a 4 or a 6 on there for the days. But it didn't matter. I had the address on it. It got sent, and a number on which one to send. I had a little post-it on what day to send it, so it was sure to be at that destination by the time I got there. Right off the get-go, Snickers bars, Cliff bars, and I'll go ahead and throw this stuff in here. And I always had this stuff. I'd always put it in my bag that my bear bag, right, my food bag. These fruit bars, these little fruit bars, I think they were like in a box for 12, and I got them for like $1.50. You guys, I mean, it's insane on the sales that I found. But yeah, I mean, I was paying less than a quarter for one of these little fruit bars that I would have for breakfast, okay, along with my, like my oatmeal or something like that. You guys, okay, so this here, you guys, what you're going to see in this box, we cannot get the proper nutrition on the trail, okay, that we need. Our bodies are going through hell. We're exerting our bodies, we're pushing them, they're getting stressed out. So I went the extra mile, and I got put on a very good supplement regimen where I can get the antioxidants I need, I can get the minerals that I need, and Omega. I got the Omega fish oil, and then something for my knees or for my joints, you know. So it was important to me to stay healthy on the trail. And I had been taking these vitamins before, and I just was not going to risk any type of illness or anything like that on the trail. So I wanted to make sure I was getting the nutrition that I needed. I needed to supplement because the foods we have are depleted or they just don't have what we need. Okay, so that was very, very important to me of having vitamins on the trail. And then you got sugar, you know, candy. I got random pieces of candy. More Snickers bars and more of these bars. You guys, candy canes after Christmas. I got like a big box of them for 75 cents. And eventually I got tired of them, to be honest with you. Packages of candy. I think I got this thing of Reese's miniatures for $1.50. Okay, and then I broke it down into, I must have broken it down into 2 different bags. So I would take some and I'd mix different candies. So some of this might be Reese's, some of it might be, yeah, they're all Reese's, but sometimes it'd be a different candy in there. I'd always break them down and split them up because I didn't want to carry the whole bag with me. York patties, more random things of candy. Woo! That actually sounds good. I'm going to have one of them now. Tuna packs. I never got tired of tuna. I actually enjoyed the tuna. I always wanted the tuna. They are heavy though. Sometimes I would go without tuna for a little while, or I'd split it up and I'd have something a little bit lighten up the load. But you guys, this whole box is 5 pounds. Okay, that whole box right there is 5 pounds worth of food. I just weighed it to check it. It was 4.92 pounds. And the heaviest thing in there is the tuna. Okay, tuna and candy. Drink mixes. Okay, I got the Mio drops. You got the Propel, things like that to add flavor to your water. And then of course electrolytes. I got some that are extra electrolytes. You always wanted to keep that. More Cliff bars. I can't eat another Cliff bar. Ugh. More random candy. Oatmeal. Okay, I'd always have an oatmeal. I got this whey protein packets. I would split these in half. I would have one with each one of my oatmeals. I'd add the whey protein to my oatmeal. Sometimes make a drink out of it. And so I got some extra protein there. Excuse me. I always had another bag of ramen. Okay, ramen's always it's like a treat for some reason. I don't know, but I'd always have a bag of ramen in my bags just in case as an extra meal. Okay, or if I just wanted a little something extra. Sometimes I didn't even feel like eating. We got a Knorr pasta side. I rarely put these in my resupply boxes. I must have got these on sale. I know I got a bunch of them on sale, but I rarely had these. Like I said, most of my food was dehydrated. Here we go again, a soup. These soups come in like 8 servings. I would break them down into about three. So I would have this bag, and then other ones would go into Ziploc bags. Okay, so again, these are like $2.50, I think. $2.50, maybe less. And I get 3 meals out of that. Okay, so it's less than $1 a meal. Most of my meals, you guys, were like 50 cents, 75 cents. They weren't much at all. Raisins. I bought a vacuum sealer so I could vacuum seal all my dehydrated food. All of it wasn't necessarily dehydrated or vacuum sealed. I would put some in Ziploc bags, some of the stuff that could just soak in the Ziploc. But because I wanted space, I would vacuum seal them. A rice dish, okay? Now this is a Mexican rice dish, but I also dehydrated some verde. I got some chili verde right there on rice, okay? This is awesome. This is good. Believe it or not, I made a bunch of verde and was able to dehydrate that into different meals. Spaghetti, goulash, and lasagna, stroganoff, things like that. Speaking of goulash, this might be goulash. It looks like it's got hamburger in it, and noodles and onions, and it might just be something. I don't know if that's necessarily a tomato-based meal or not. I don't know, but there's another meal right there. Excuse me. All right. Last but not least, almonds. Here's another example. Why do I got the bags in this one? I would break this down into this bag. I would actually break down into four pieces. I would take and put some in the Ziploc bags and put them in there. That way I had just enough for the week. And it looks like I got 4 days worth of food here, by the way. 4 days worth of food, 5 pounds. That's not quite enough, but I always did have some extra stuff like peanut butter or tortillas that I would pick up along the way. I actually got tired of tortillas. But you guys, that's kind of what I did for my resupply. Like I said, a little more than half of my resupplies came from home. So this was a lot like my bear bag here. I would just put my food in there and stuff that in my pack. Okay, this is the pack I started with. I'm not going to necessarily get into talking about packs. So that's resupply. 3 to 4 days, you'll find a place on the trail that you can resupply from. There's post offices, hostels, hotels, things like that you could send a box to. You got to do your homework in finding all those places along the line. Appalachian Trail post offices, it'll line you out exactly where all those post offices are. It'll give you information. Gut hooks, all the books that they have out there for the trail give you that kind of information as well. So I don't want to go through all that. It just takes quite a while to do that. Let's talk a little bit about repairs and or replace. Okay, so just to kind of, yeah, I didn't really have any repairs. My trekking poles needed to be repaired, but it was so awesome that a Trail Angel offered to give me some other trekking poles from her trunk that worked. Okay, it was hard to give up my trekking poles because they cost so much more than the ones that she gave me. But the thing was, those Walmart trekking poles that she handed me worked. They worked for me until I was able to replace those with something that worked out better for me. But the cool thing was that I didn't even have to repair them. She took and paid money to repair them so she could give them to somebody else. So it's kind of, it goes around. It's pretty awesome. But I didn't have to necessarily repair anything. Those are the only things that ever really broke that need to be repaired. Shoes, I guess I could have, repaired the shoes. I simply replaced all my shoes. I ended up going through 2 pair, and I ended up sending the first pair home because my feet swole. But I sent those home and replaced those, and then I did go through 2 pair that I actually threw in the garbage because they were so wore out. Another thing, the reason I got this pack out, my tag, I actually put my tag back on this pack because I went out on a little backpacking trip and I wanted to take this pack, and of course I still wanted to keep my tag on. But anyway, I started with this pack, and I lost 30 pounds. And the problem with this pack is the hip belt here is one solid piece. It's not adjustable at all. And I've got that cinched up all the way there. This was cinched up all the way there. And that thing was still falling off my hips. So it no longer was working for me. So instead of calling home and saying, send me this particular pack, because I got 4 different backpacks, instead of sending that, I ended up buying another one. And I bought this Granite Gear. I went from a 50 liter to a 60 liter, but I bought this Granite Gear at Damascus. Okay, and I ended up finishing the through hike with this one here. Obviously the hip belt adjusts. This pack is 1.5 pounds less than this one. Actually more than that, because there's something, the back support piece you can take out of this pack. I took it out to see if it worked, and it worked well for me. But anyway, so I ended up buying that pack, which I did not expect to buy. I wasn't counting on buying another pack. So I spent money there. So now I'm diving into my budget and spending more money than I need to, when I simply could have had another pack sent out to me. But nevertheless, I replaced something that wasn't working for me anymore. The shoes replaced, the poles I replaced, a tent, Franklin, North Carolina. I gave up the tent because I was swamped out. I couldn't get the manufacturer, that company, to send me a new one. I wanted to go to a hammock at some point anyway, because I like hammocks. I just sleep better in a hammock. And I wasn't quite ready yet, but when I got swamped out, when it rained and there's more rain coming and they weren't going to replace my tent right away, I simply sent that back to REI. Thank you, REI. I love you guys. You're awesome. Love your policy. You guys, if you're going to buy something like that, buy it from some place that will return, that you can return it to if need be at a moment's notice. Okay, REI shields. There's a lot of them out there. But I ended up buying a hammock setup right there in Franklin, which was another $365 that I did not expect to spend. I had a hammock at home, and instead of calling it home, sending my hammock setup out there, I bought a new one. I think I'm a gear junkie. I don't know. Anyhow, and then later on, I ended up buying another hammock at Trail Days because they had such a killer sell on that Hennessy Explorer that I loved that Hennessy. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so here I am chipping away at my budget and by buying more gear. But I'm simply replacing things and not necessarily needed, but I did. you're better off repairing things if you can, if you've got the time, but I didn't have the time. I was pushing. There was a date I wanted to be done by, and so that, in a way, I chose to spend more money. So that's pretty much it. So let's kind of recap. As far as I told you my total budget was around $2,000. Now I had probably $700-800 worth of gear already. A lot of that I didn't end up using. So I ended up buying other things to take out on the trail, and then of course replacing the tent. But that kind of equals out to the other gear I spent money on. So, but at the end of the day, you guys, as far as my food goes, I spent less than $900 on food, I think. There may be some receipts or something I didn't look at or something, but right around $900 is what I spent. I just know how much money I had in the bank and what was available to me, and I know I spent it all. Having to dip into some that I didn't want to dip into, but yeah, that's what it was there for, just in case. Hotels, hostels, I didn't spend not even $300. I just kind of rounded that up to $300 because I know I spent some money on some little things here and there that I probably didn't need to, or because I wanted to. Gifts, things like that. So about $300 on hotels, hostels, things like that. So as far as gear, $850 maybe when I'm into that. But you guys, I spent right around $2,300 on my Appalachian Trail through hike. $2,300, right around that neighborhood, give or take 100. Okay, and I was out there 4.5 months. So can it be done for less than $1,000 a month? Absolutely. But if you have $1,000 a month to spend, do it. Enjoy it, and take that extra time to enjoy better foods. Go to restaurants. Support those local restaurants and eateries out there, and of course along the way, making sure that you take some time to yourselves and treat yourself. I treated myself to a $35 steak. What? But I'll tell you what, it was the best steak I ever had. Oh my goodness. But you guys, that's really about it. Just kind of a little bit about the cost and resupply and the gear of my Appalachian Trail through hike. You guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, and hit that little bell there on the right that'll notify you when another video comes up. And I'm working on doing more videos about the Appalachian Trail, about my through hike and about my experiences, my opinions, and hopefully it can help you. You guys, all I want to do is be able to reach out and help a person. If I can help one person, I've done my job. I'm happy about that. And it's fun to watch everybody getting excited about their through hike coming up. I'm super excited to watch them. And again, you guys, please tune in for the next one. If there's anything I can help you with or answer any questions, please go ahead and comment, and I will get back with you as soon as I possibly can. All right, everybody. You guys have a great one, and don't forget to get out and hike, enjoy yourselves, and look for the beauty in the trail, and enjoy what Mother Nature has given us. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.